I'm excited because we're gonna do a big video on breast pumps and kind of where to start if you're looking to use a breast pump. I guess I just want to say welcome if you're new. My name's Kim. I kind of do like parenting videos, and we have 2 sons. And let's just get right in. I feel like a lot of people sort of know what like the general popular pumps are. Yeah, I sort of have a little bit of a pump thing. Let's just, yeah, okay. I actually may have some more, but I'm not gonna show you those. These 3 are kind of like, well, these are 2, but these 3 are kind of like the important ones / the ones that are more popular. Kind of why I wanted to show you these. So I guess what I want to start out with saying is a lot of these pumps you can get free through your insurance, through the Affordable Care Act. If you go, I'm going to link down below the Aeroflow, I think is what it's called, link, so you can get your free breast pump through there. I wanted to go through the parts of the pump, and this is mainly going to be the Medela, Mahula, I don't know whatever. But I'm going to do the Medela parts, and those are the parts with this little sign, which I feel like a lot of people have sort of seen that, even if they're not quite a parent yet. That's kind of the brand that like their brain sort of is like, oh yes, I remember this. But I wanted to go through the parts because I feel like a lot of people don't, and people don't know what the parts are called. So, excuse me. Let's start out. This is the bottle. Usually if you get this one, the Medela pump and style, with your insurance, it comes with 2 of these. There is a top too. There's a top. The top is also yellow. These, I would have to say, are the best bottles. They're really sturdy. You can put them in the dishwasher. You can boil them, and like nothing happens. They also, I don't know, they just don't like, you know, some plastic like gets that like scent. These ones kind of don't do that. So the bottle, you have to take the top off, will go onto the little flange. I'm not like 100% what the heck this actual part, this part is called, like this here, this one. But this is like the part that goes here. This is called the flange. And now there's different sizes. So this is like the massive size. What's this one? This is 27. This one is, what the heck is this? Oh, this is a Maymom one, so it's a little bit of a different brand, but they're generally the same. So I think this is either 24. I think this is a 24. So there is kind of like a little confusion with what size flange you are. Medela has a really good, let me see if I have it. They have a really good chart that shows kind of what size you are. I'll see if I can like, oh, maybe it's here. See if I can link it below. But if you look on their website, there is a chart. But you essentially, this one actually might be easier to show. But you essentially want your nipple to not be touching the sides. So it has to be like directly in the middle while it's like sucking. Because you don't want it rubbing, because then it causes pain and discomfort and all this fun stuff. So you got your little flange unit. Then you have this little thing. Now most pumps come with like this general, like it's a general thing. Medela does like a plastic, it's a hard plastic, where Spectra does kind of like a duckbill one. I wish I had one to show you guys, but I don't. So it looks like this, and it also comes with this little tiny valve. So this little tiny valve goes into this little hole here. These valves are what you're gonna want to change, like if you're exclusively pumping or pumping once a day. You still want to change these like every couple weeks. You want to look and see if they have any rips or tears, and if when you're pumping and you're not getting enough milk, it's probably because these have worn out, and you should definitely change them. The duckbill ones, which are all like this type of material. Those ones you don't have to change as often as these, but you still have to check every little thing to make sure that they're not cracked. So this goes on the bottom here. Doesn't matter which way it's facing, because the milk is gonna come out and drip down through here, and this is what causes the suction. Then your bottle is gonna be threaded into there. Oh my God. And then it looks like a pound, and then you're like, whoa. Yeah, so then you're gonna be taking your tubing, which this is a Spectra tubing, so it's not actually gonna fit, but it does go in, there's a little hole right here. You see that? Yeah, it's a little hole, and your tubing would go right in there. And then the tubing would attach to either this pump or this pump, which is like right there. See those holes? You just stick it right in there. The tubing you should not have to replace unless it's like really disgusting and clouded or cracked or somebody went like that, but you shouldn't have to replace this like your whole pumping journey. You do want to kind of rinse it out, but you don't really want to be like boiling it or putting it in hot stuff. Like, it's not really meant to do that. These and all these parts are though, but not this. So you really shouldn't have to replace this. The thing that you will have to replace is that little white thing. Yeah. So that's kind of like generally the parts for like the Medela. There is a hack for the Medela to go with the Spectra. If you're interested in what that hack is, like, comment down below and I will definitely do a video about that. But so I also wanted to go over this pump. Oh, it's a little bit there. And like what it sort of does. So a lot of people are like, what the heck is this? Like, what the heck is this? You know, because it looks a little weird. So you put this little spigot on, you put this here so that you can either single pump or, oh, should show up there, or you can put it on this little doohick and you can double pump. So double pumping means there's like, I'll just show you. So here is what. So now you'd be double pumping. Here you'd be single. It's just kind of like your preference. The Spectra is the same way. Theirs is like a little bit harder to get to because they're like really close. So you're sort of like, also side note, there's like a little spigot down here that you have to come off, which I've ripped off. Like, see this? I don't know, this is a little bit like, it's not really well, the engineer needs to get on that. But it's the same thing, you just stick them right on these little nodules. But see how, oh, yeah. See how it's pretty close on the Spectra here, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not as easy to do. And then it's the same, then you put this little doohick right for the single pump. So this one, thank you, honey. This one is pretty much the same. Where's the thing? This one does, so this is, no, I'm sorry, it's this one. Ha! This one is pretty much the same, except it does come with like a special tubing. Some pumps, like you can kind of interchange tubing, like I just showed you with those two, but this one, you can't do that. This one has like a special little like nose that kind of goes in there and then it like splits into two. It's a little bit more complicated, but this one is definitely more portable. The back, you can put batteries in. The only thing is I don't feel like this one you get like a bang total amount of suction, but it is kind of vibraty and more gentle, which is nice. Some people need a more gentle suction, where this one will like, watch out, man. This one packs a punch. This one, the suction is a lot more vibraty. It's super quiet. The only thing I don't like is I felt like I didn't quite get enough because it wasn't quite suctiony enough. With this one I got a lot more milk. But another thing, before I kind of get into my thoughts on each of these pumps, I do want to point out some other things that I think that you should definitely get. And one thing that you should definitely get with your pump, regardless of brand, is the Medela, Malama, Mahamadama, Lama Dingo is the Medela Quick Clean Micro Steam Bag. So you literally put this in your microwave. This is like the person who thought of this, I don't know, it doesn't have their name, but they should be like, I don't know, crowned or something. This is so handy. So you put 2 ounces of water. There's a little direction thing on the back, so you can totally, you know, read that, but I'll just kind of give you the gist. And then it also, you can check off the boxes because you can only use it 20 times until it kind of like disintegrates a little bit. But you put 20 ounces of water in here, you put all your parts in here. So this stuff, you want to take everything apart, obviously, take it apart, and you put everything in there, put it all in here, you zip it up. You don't want to overstuff it, but you can kind of, you know, get stuff in there. This bag gets pretty big. You stick it in the microwave for, it depends on how many wattages it is. I always did it for like a minute and a half. I'm sorry, my son is having a rough day. And you wait, and then you open it and there's steam and it's burning hot, but everything is like steamed and sterilized and clean, and it's super easy and quick. I don't think these are too expensive. I'll link everything down below that I'm talking about, but they're totally worth it. These are just some extras that I have. They don't actually come in this bag. I just put them in here. Okay, another thing, you'll notice a lot of the brands that I'm showing you are from Mandela, but that, excuse me, that is because Mandela really they really thought of their stuff. So this is something else, the Mandela Quick Clean Wipes. So these are great for every day. Say you're just like, yeah, I don't really feel like, you know, cleaning my pump parts. Well, you could take this little wipe and wipe everything down. You do need to wait for this to dry in order to reuse this, but by the time you come back to pump, it will be dry. So I don't know why they really say that, because I feel like, I don't know. But, I mean, I guess unless you're like double or single pumping, and then you kind of, but you do have to like wait for it to dry. I don't know. But other than that, it's like completely safe for baby. And it's like the milk, so your like breast milk is very different than regular milk. It leaves this odd like film that you can't get out. So even if you get it on your clothes, they also make a soap, which I don't have because like I've used it so often, but I will link it down below. It's the best soap ever. It's soap to actually clean like in the sink, and you can put like 1 or 2 squirts in your laundry, only 2, like I wouldn't go any more than 2. And it'll get milk out of clothes or, you know, anything you spilled milk on that's fabric. It's awesome. So definitely check these out. They're really handy for on the go, or, you know, if you just don't have enough time to clean anything, you can kind of do it. I'm not really sure how many times, like a day, you can sort of do it. It doesn't really say, but I mean, I've used them a couple times, and like I never had any issues with like the milk being kind of like rotten or something. Breast milk is like, it's live cultures, so it doesn't really like go bad in the sense of that like cow's milk does. I mean, it does go bad, but like, I don't know, there's a lot of controversy on like, you know, how long you can leave breast milk out and blah 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 blah. I used to leave mine out for a while. I used to leave it in the fridge for longer than, you know, they told me. I'd leave it in there for like a week and then give it to the baby and it'd be fine. Smelling it is not the same as, like, it could stink, and that's totally normal. It's not like cow's milk where you're like, oh yeah, that's bad. Nope, your breast milk can totally stink, and that's totally normal. It just means you make a different type of enzyme than somebody else. Mine always kind of didn't have like a scent. It was kind of like a little soapy-ish, and I don't know, it almost was like a little bit, I'd be like, oh, you know, ugh. But you know, the kids freaking loved it. So another thing are pads for leakage. These are totally great. I'd say in the beginning use like the disposable, and then as your milk really like comes in and levels out, you could use the washable ones. I liked the washable ones. I feel like I got less plugged ducts with those because your body could really breathe, where this, you know, you're like trapping in all that moisture. These were good at night because sometimes you leak a lot more at night. But it really depends on the person, but I highly recommend the washable ones. They just seem to be cleaner, if that makes any sense. Another thing, which I'm gonna link these down below because these are great. You can't really tell what it is right now, so I'm gonna take it out of its little thing. But this, let me see if I remember what the name. It's the Lansinoh Thera Pearl 3-in-1 Breast Therapy. So usually there's 2 of these. I don't know where my other one went. It's probably like in another bin. You have to get these. Okay, so it goes like this, like over your boob. And when you have a plugged duct or your boobs hurt or anything, this can be hot, this can be cold, you stick it right in there and man, oh, it just relieves whatever. When I had plugged ducts, I would use this. Like, I mean, you could put it, I think you put it in the microwave for like, do not heat more than 25 seconds. Yeah. So I think I did it for like 10 seconds on mine. And I mean, it got nice and hot, and you would massage, you know, a little bit behind where your plugged duct is. And it would just, oh, it would just totally help. Or sometimes your boobs just hurt. And so it was nice to have these cool. This is just like, you know, a little cover thing. I actually didn't really use these. I felt like it kind of, the heat sort of was masked by this. So I kind of used it just like this. But it usually comes with 2. I'm definitely going to link these down below. This is the same brand as this pump. This pump does not come with these, but it's like part of the brand. But these were just saviors. There is also this little vibrating thing. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks like a vibrator. And it's something to help get plugged ducts, which I totally would recommend. I want to try that. The next thing is this the right thing? Yes. This is a battery powered pack for the Medela, and you can also use it for the Spectra as well. They both have the universal 12 volt. That's for you, Dad. Yeah, they both have the 12 volt plug. I'm gonna just open this one and show you. Yeah, it's right. Well, this one's 9 volt, meaning you can still use it. It's fine. You put batteries in this. You can pump in your car. You can pump in the woods, whatever, anywhere. So then you don't have to find a plug. Sometimes that's hard, sometimes it's not. Not everybody, you know, this pump has batteries, so you obviously don't need like this, but you could still use it, I think. Yeah, it still has the right plug, so you could still use it, but I mean, it comes with batteries, or it has the option of batteries. Another thing is a wet bag. So you can get these on Amazon. This is kind of nice for like your parts when they're like wettish, you know, after you're done pumping with like milk. You can just stick them in here and then the milk like won't transfer to the bag or wherever you're holding it. It's just nice. Like they just, you know, this is a weird design because I think it was like $1, but it works. Another thing that can help with the privacy is like one of these little Shawl breast pumping nursing things. I hate this part, but it is kind of nice to like look down because I can see everything, but like nobody else can. Sorry, something just like came out of this. Nobody else can really see it. I do kind of not like the fact that like you can't really like go like this with this one. I do think that like a infinity scarf might work better, but definitely some type of coverage does help if you're out in public pumping or even nursing. It helps because then you're not really, you know, you can think about your letdown and you're a little bit more like hidden. Another thing, which this is a Medela, this is so that you can double pump. Let me just zip it up here. Hold on a second. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but there's holes there. And, oh, I'm sorry, like something like flew into my nose. So I'll show you how it works. So you essentially wear it, you know, like around your area, and you put your flange into the hole. Hold on, this is like hard because it's not actually on me. So normally it's like tight and it's easy to get in. Yeah, so you see how it's like in the hole, and then you can pump. And it holds it there so that you don't have to hold it with your hand like this. you can like be on your phone or I don't know, whatever. And there's different sizes. I think this is a medium, or I think it's a medium. And it comes in like a couple different colors. Medela makes it. There's a couple of other companies that make it, but I highly recommend the Medela. The elastic on the Medela lasts forever. I think I've had this through both of the boys, and I did have another one that wasn't Medela or Mandela, whatever, Mahola, blah, blah. And it's better quality. So this helped if you want a double pump or even single pump. It like just keeps those, keeps the flanges nice and right there so that you can't really like bend too much, but you can kind of like move like this and it'll stay there. Okay, so I guess what I want to do now, I know this video is a little bit longer, but I did want to put my opinions on some of the pumps. So I guess I'll start with the Lansinoh. I think this is, what is this one called? Oh, I wish I remembered. I don't remember, but I'm gonna start with this pump. I mainly got this pump because I liked I wanted a portable pump. And I love that it's portable. I love the size. It's a really nice size. It's quieter. Not as quiet as the Spectra, but it's quieter. And I liked that it had the batteries because then, it was more portable. The only thing I didn't really like was that it didn't really have a lot of suction. The bottles and like the flanges stuff, I could do my hack. But it just didn't really give me as good suction. But it still gave me milk, but just not, like how some of my other pumps did. But I still would recommend it because not everybody needs like a really big suction, and some people are always on the go too. This one, I think it's like there's a smart pump, the Lansinoh smart pump. This isn't the smart one, but the smart one goes to your phone, which could be helpful. And I think both of them are free with insurance, so that's kind of fun. The second one that I wanted to talk about is the Spectra S2. Is this the 2? Yeah, the Spectra S2. This one is pretty big, so it's got a little thing back for the bottle. This is actually highly, like, I use this all the time, which was weird. I kind of was like, that's stupid, like I'm never gonna use that, but you do. And then there's kind of like the face. So this one has like it's kind of different. So instead of sucking, they call it vibrating, which it totally does do that. So it's a much gentler pump. It definitely can get some really good suction, but nowhere near, I feel like, that the Mandela does. I do like that it has a night light, which comes up here. I don't have it plugged in. I probably should, but I just don't. The other, so I loved that it was quiet. I loved like that it kind of was vibrating and gentle. The parts were pretty good. I really liked the parts, like some of the duckbill was a lot better than than like some of the stuff in here, but I feel like the Mandela flanges were a lot better than this flange that I got. It was just, this one had like a weird angle, but you can still make it work. The other thing I didn't like was that, look at how big this is. Like, it's bigger than my head. And I tried to pump once with it in the car while the car was running. I wasn't driving, like somebody else was driving. And it doesn't even really have grippies, so it just kind of like flew everywhere. It's hard to kind of like carry it around because it's just big. So that's kind of like meh. And I sort of was still on the fence about how I felt because I felt like the suction wasn't really enough. Sometimes I would play with like the different settings and I almost like kept it in the letdown setting, which I'm not really gonna go too much detail into that because like you should definitely read your directions and then you'll sort of figure that out. If you want like more of an in-depth video on like actually how to pump and like what a letdown is and all that, just comment below and I will definitely do a video about that. So, and this is kind of like the general one that most people get, is the Medela pump and style. So this one, the only thing that was kind of annoying, oh, my son just ripped this thing off. The only thing that I want to say that's annoying is that this wasn't a hospital grade pump. This one's a hospital grade. I don't think the Lansinoh one is either. But it's not a closed system, which means milk actually can get into this. Where this is closed, so it's milk cannot get anywhere in this thing. There is a hack from this so that you can use this so that this becomes closed system. Obviously, if you want that, comment below and I will definitely do a video. But I liked how simple this one is. Like, look at this. On, off, let down, you know, it's like super, super simple. This one definitely had a learning curve. Like, look at all those buttons. This one was super simple. It's pretty small. I mean, but it's loud. It's kind of loud. But I mean, I don't know. Who gives a butt about? I didn't really give a butt about the noise level, whatever. And I'd have to say this one just is, the suction is there. It's more of like like a really suction. It's not a vibraty, like it's not, but you can get it pretty gentle. I mean, it has a min and it has a max, like you can see, you know, there's, yeah. So it definitely has like a low setting. It's just not as like massagey as kind of the Spectra does. But I honestly really liked all three. I'm hoping to try more in the future to kind of like get more reviews out there about different pumps. But these are kind of like the general three. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was like super long, but if you have any questions or any more requests about pump videos, I do want to do some more. Please let me know, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.